People
Mm-hmm.
usually tend to generalize on, for example, for the 9/11, everyone kind of generalized, oh, now these Muslims are very dangerous people. After Pearl Harbor, they generalized that all Japanese, but really in a broad sense, Asians were really dangerous. Generalization, like with what's happened in France, why do people generalize? Is it ignorance, stupidity, or is it just kind of a human nature to what I see? If I see a dog kill a cat, now I generalize that all dogs will kill cats or all dogs are dangerous against cats. Why is there such a generalization towards a certain race whenever something happens? Like Virginia Tech, after Virginia Tech happened, not as big as a scare as the 9/11, but there was still that kind of, oh no, Asian people, so dangerous.
Ignorance. But why do people generalize? Because they're ignorant. That's why.
Because I'd say that generalization, for the most part, is how we get by in life, right?
How about you don't appreciate the nuances and things? Never learn about the intricacies of anything, the real meaning of anything, and just assume this is really the simple block and the other is within this group. You have very simple things, and that's called generalized, stemming from laziness, result of ignorance.
That's not a valid argument because everything's not like that, obviously. But the basis of how we even function is based off of generalizations, finding a pattern in things, right? And so, even though what they're doing isn't really right, it's only natural that we're generalizing like that because it's the easiest way to answer something that we can't answer. Like, why are these people doing this? Who are the people who are doing this? Well, it's all answered if you just generalize, right?
When we generalize, you can always just, there's these hate crimes or they start, there's a Muslim or, because then they don't really go by certain things, they just kind of the whole generalization thing. So I see a Middle Eastern person, so now I know they own a gas station nearby. Now people go and destroy that location because they're just, oh, you're so dangerous, get out of our country now. No one wants to get into your cabin now the whole day. You can't make a living anymore. Would you agree it hurts individual lives?
Okay, but can you come up with ways in which it actually makes things work in society?
The stereotypes are formed that way. Some stereotypes are true, others are not true, and then some stereotypes keep you safe, others do not.
I'm talking about even more basic generalization. Like say,
I see someone with a hood over their head walking at night.
No, that's not what I mean. Think like non-people, something that helps all of us, helps our society work.
But you're talking about that kind of generalization of ethnicity of people after an event like 9/11. You're sort of asking about why this attitude, not generalization in general. Of course, people generalize as a tool.
Well, maybe by answering Alan's generalization question, we can find out the root to this evil.
Let's go from there. I don't think it's necessary. But...
Okay, think of traffic lights. Think of traffic lights. What do you think will happen when the light is red? What's supposed to happen?
Before it becomes red, you're supposed to skip by it when it's yellow. You're never supposed to see a red light. It's only supposed to be green and yellow.
The reason that society even works is because we put faith in a lot of things that we think are supposed to work. It's also in just how we see the world function. Like when we throw something up in the air, we expect it to drop back down, right?
I'm sorry, I'm not very good at physics, so I can't answer that question. I can't answer that question.
Like of course I'm not justifying it, but I'm justifying why people like to generalize. Because obviously, once you get to a certain point, generalizing is foolish, and it's kind of the short way out. And that's exactly what I mean. Now people are just taking the short way out by the short line in regards to thinking, like the course of logical thought. Let's say, like directly going over there.
I need to find an answer to why they did this. So whatever I could grasp onto first is the answer that I would show accept.
And emotions as well. Think of emotions. If you're upset about something and you see what's directly in front of you, you need a way to categorize it, right? To really, really say, who is this group of people so we can directly find them responsible, and if not directly attack them, actually attack them, then place your mental weight. You need a target. You need a specific target too.
I think what Alan answered was not quite relevant to
I think it is relevant completely. I went into generalizing in general in order to answer your question about generalizing in this context. In order to understand it.
So if I see an Asian person blow up New York,
Speaking.
now find all Asian people, I see all Asian people are dangerous.
People generally generalize as a tool for things that concern them in their everyday lives, but after 9/11, it's this whole bunch of broadcasting of politics that most people don't understand, don't care to know any more than the very surface of it, and which never affected their lives. When they were before 9/11, before they even care about Middle East, they don't even know. Most people don't even know what the Middle East is. So after 9/11, the sudden concern with it and following generalization, which kind of an attitude adopted towards these Middle Eastern people, it's not really the same type of generalization as you would use to judge something that make your life survivable as you live.
But it is. But it is. Because that's where it came from in the first place.
No need to dislike the Middle Easterners. It's just propaganda.
I think our third speaker is completely missing the point and needs a lesson in grammatics and...
What I'm getting from Alan's thing is that if I see Middle Eastern do this now, in order to find an answer to why they did it, I have to accuse all Middle Easterners of being capable of doing this despicable thing. So now then, what if we'll use the France example? Middle Easterners hurt France. So what if a couple of days later there was some French extremists that hurt Middle Eastern people? Or if not in that context, not the Middle Eastern hurts France, now French people hurt Middle Eastern. What if it was Middle Eastern hurts French, but now French hurts, and now with the world all siding on the French side, what happens if French did something to another country, or a French extremist did something else to another country? How do you think this scenario will work out? Would now there just be two hatreds, or would there be like a cancellation?
Would it be what? Wait, say that last part again?
Would there be a kind of a universal hate for both ethnicities, or would it kind of cancel out that Middle Eastern did this to the French, now the French did this to, I don't know, say another country? Does it cancel out?
No, it doesn't cancel out in the Middle East, but it can cancel out in the West.
So there would be less of a support for this. There wouldn't be as much of a pride for France anymore. Paris.
Yeah, less enthusiasm for such things in the West.
It's the same thing if Middle East hits France and then France hits Middle East. Would that situation be the same thing as Middle East hits France and France hits another country? Or would the result from each scenario be the same? Or would there be another outcome in each situation?
I don't know, that's pretty general. Middle Eastern country. What if there's some Middle Eastern countries that don't retaliate, or people? These aren't even countries that are retaliating. They're just certain organization, people. I don't know. This would rely on empirical studies or prediction.
This would be like the trials that Odysseus went through for the world. Yeah, right. The trials of Hercules. Is it Hercules or Odysseus?
But Odysseus' journey back from Troy, yeah.
Yeah, was also this would really put mankind to the test, right? What would happen?